It is time for another travel vlog, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to shoot everything the same way I always do with my Nikon, my phone, my drone. However, I'm only going to use my iPhone to edit the footage. I'm going to use the Lightning to SD card dongle to import my footage into the iPhone, and then I'm going to use the app called LumaFusion to edit it. If you guys have seen the previous video that I did about LumaFusion and how I edit my Instagram stories, then you have a rough idea about what I want to do. And I'm going to try to do this vlog the same way I do my Instagram stories, a bit more snappy and with some cool whip transitions. However, before we get into that, I really need to get rid of this really sad attempt at a Movember mustache. That takes care of that. Maybe one day I'll be able to grow some proper facial hair, but right now I need to sort out this hair situation as well, because I am going to Chrissa's sister's wedding. So, all right, looking a bit more presentable for the wedding. Just got a few more things to pack and we're off. Just met up with Chrissa and we've arrived at the airport, and I've got about half an hour to spare, so I'm going to start editing the sequence you just watched. We've arrived in Athens and we have a 3-hour layover before we fly to Alexandroupoli, where the wedding is taking place. So we're gonna take a quick nap. But before I do that, I want to tell you why I chose to shoot my video normally and edit it on my iPhone. There's two reasons. First of all, I didn't feel like carrying a laptop for just the 2 days that we're gonna be over here in Greece. And the second reason is that I've been toying with the idea of maybe getting an iPad Pro to do my edits when I travel, because I really like the way LumaFusion works when I do my stories, and Final Cut Pro is really good for what it does, but the rendering times, especially on my laptop, which is 7 years old, are not great. So I'm trying to do the vlog on my phone, and if it works out, I might get an iPad Pro. How is it being home?
I don't know yet, I'm so sleepy.
We tried to get some sleep on the plane, but there were two guys behind us who just blabbered on for 45 minutes straight. So I'm gonna go home, eat some burrata, and then pass out again for a couple of hours. Yesterday all we did was sleep, eat, and hang out with family. Right now I'm with the best man, Christos. You remember him from his wedding? Check out that video up there. It was pretty fun. We're going to run some errands now, pick up some balloons, and then we're heading to the wedding. Balloons acquired. Now for breakfast and coffee. We're now back in London and I thought I'd spare you from another airplane montage. We had a lovely time at the wedding. Congrats, Angelos and Pigi. I also have to mention that we don't usually throw babies in tubs of water for Greek weddings. It was actually their baby's christening at the same time as the wedding, and Chrissa got to be the godmother. Baby Marilia was super brave. She didn't shed a single tear. Usually kids cry like crazy when they get dipped into the water, so good on her. At this point, everything you've seen in the video I've edited using my iPhone and LumaFusion, and I've come up with some things that I like and I don't like, and some things are clear on whether I can use it full-time editing on an iPad or not. The workflow for me is much more intuitive, using a finger to move things around and cut things. And also because I did it on the road, even though the edit took me 6 hours, which is the same amount of time that it usually takes me to edit a video, it felt a lot shorter because I did it over the entire weekend whenever I had a spare moment, rather than just coming home from a long trip, importing tens of hours of footage, trying to cut it down in a single sitting. It felt a lot more manageable. Things I miss from a professional desktop app are noise reduction for sure. You might have noticed some noise in this footage. Stabilization, you can't stabilize your footage on LumaFusion, unfortunately. For my time lapses, you can't speed up video more than 6 times at a time, so I had to import the footage in a separate project, speed it up 6 times, export it, and then do it again to get it as fast as I wanted it to get it. On the plus side of all of that, you don't get to see, because it's such a small screen, you don't get to see all the imperfections. So usually things that you'll spend on hours trying to fix, like noise and shake, are now out of the picture because you can't really do anything about it. Kind of streamlines your process. Even though the final video might not be as perfect as you'd like it to be, it's usually minor things that people don't even notice when they're watching their video on their phone or on a small tablet, which most people do nowadays. So can I use LumaFusion on an iPad full-time to edit my videos? I'm not convinced yet. If Apple releases Final Cut Pro on the iPad Pro, I'll be more convinced to get an iPad. But the way I would use it now is to do a rough cut of my edit. So I would import all my footage and cut down to the video I would like, and then I would take that into my desktop and into Final Cut Pro for the final adjustments and color grading and editing sound. Sound was a bit tricky. The sound editing tools on LumaFusion weren't great, so that's something I'm missing as well. One big issue that I had is that I shot a few clips on Chris's Sony camera for slow-mo, and for some reason iOS devices can't import those directly. From what I researched, you have to export those on a desktop and then Dropbox them over to your iPhone, which kind of defeats the point. So unless I find a solution to that, I can't use this workflow, as I plan on upgrading to a Sony camera in the near future as well. That's it. Let me know what you think of the edit and of the video, how it looks on the big screen. I haven't seen it on the desktop screen yet. I'm going to upload it straight from my iPhone, so I hope it holds up on a desktop screen. But if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, let me know in the comments, and consider subscribing if you haven't already for weekly videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.